If you ever want to know how fast your marriage can die, just wait for your wife's phone to ding while she's in the shower. That innocent little sound will haunt you forever. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Eli Carson, and I'm a 40-year-old IT security consultant who thought he had life figured out. I work from home in our semi-renovated house in Portland, Maine, debugging corporate networks and hunting down hackers for companies too cheap to hire full-time security staff. It's decent money, and it lets me be around when our 16-year-old son Ben gets home from school. My wife Sophia is 37, ambitious as hell, and works at Morrison & Associates, a downtown advertising agency. She's been there 8 months now, ever since we moved here from Boston. The transition was rough on her. New city, new job, new people. I was actually happy when she started making friends at work, especially this guy Derek she kept mentioning. Derek Chen, some hotshot creative director with family money and a BMW. "Derek's so funny," she'd say over dinner. "He really gets the industry." I encouraged it. Hell, I even suggested she invite him over for barbecue sometime. Shows you how stupid I was. Last Tuesday started like any other day. I was in my cluttered home office tracking down a security breach for a client in Chicago when Sophia came home around 7. She looked disheveled, hair messy, lipstick smudged, blouse wrinkled. "Rough day?" I asked, not looking up from my screen. "You have no idea," she muttered, heading straight upstairs. "I need a shower." I heard the bathroom door slam, then the water running. That's when her phone, forgotten on the kitchen counter, started buzzing like crazy. I ignored it at first. Sophia's always getting work calls and texts. But it kept going. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Finally, curiosity got the better of me. I walked over and glanced at the screen. Derek. God, I can still taste you. Derek. I miss your smile already. Wish you could sneak back. Derek. Counting the minutes until tomorrow, baby. My blood turned to ice. I stared at those messages, reading them over and over, hoping I was misunderstanding something. But there was no misunderstanding. I can still taste you. The shower was still running upstairs. Sophia was humming some pop song, completely oblivious that her world was about to collapse. I picked up her phone. My hands were shaking, but my mind was crystal clear. I typed back, pretending to be her. Change of plans. Come over now. My husband's working late and won't be home until midnight. Let's continue what we started. Derek's response came instantly. Really? Are you sure it's safe? Positive. He's completely clueless. Park in the driveway and come right in. On my way, beautiful. Can't wait to have you again. I set the phone down and walked to my garage. In the corner, behind my toolbox, I keep a spare tire iron and a bottle of automotive paint thinner. Leftovers from when I tried to restore a classic Mustang. I grabbed both. Derek's BMW pulled into our driveway 23 minutes later. I watched from the living room window as he checked his hair in the rearview mirror and straightened his expensive shirt. He looked like every entitled rich boy I'd ever wanted to punch in college. I opened the front door before he could knock. Derek, I said with a big smile. What a nice surprise. Come on in. His face went white. Eli, I thought... Sophia said you were... Working late? Yeah, change of plans. Come in, come in. Sophia's just finishing up in the shower. She'll be down in a minute. Derek stepped inside, looking like he wanted to bolt. I closed the door behind him and gestured toward the couch. Have a seat. Can I get you a beer? We need to talk. Actually, I should probably... Sit down, Derek. Something in my voice made him comply. He perched on the edge of our old couch like he was ready to run. So, I said, settling into my recliner, how long have you been fucking my wife? Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish. It's not what you think. Really? Because your texts are pretty explicit. I can still taste you? Can't wait to have you again? What am I supposed to think? That's when Sophia appeared at the top of the stairs, wrapped in a towel, her wet hair dripping on the hardwood floor. She saw Derek and froze. Oh, God, she whispered. Come on down, honey, I called. Derek and I were just discussing your work relationship. Sophia descended the stairs like she was walking to her execution. Derek stood up, started toward her, then thought better of it when he saw my expression. How long? I asked again. Sophia clutched her towel tighter. Eli, please, let me explain. How? Long. 3 weeks, she whispered. Derek found his voice. Look, man, this is between you and Sophia. I'm going to leave. Sit down. I pulled out my phone and opened the camera app. Actually, first, let's take a picture. the three of us, a little memento. "Don't you dare," Sophia said. I snapped the photo anyway, me smiling in my chair, Derek looking terrified on the couch, Sophia in her towel on the stairs. Then I opened my contacts and found Sophia's boss, Margaret Pratt. "What are you doing?" Derek demanded. "Sharing a family moment." I attached the photo and typed, "Hi, Margaret. Thought you should see how Derek handles client relations. This was taken in my living room 5 minutes ago. That's my wife in the towel. Hope Morrison and Associates is proud of their creative director's creativity. Best regards, Eli Carson." I hit send. "You bastard," Derek snarled, lunging toward me. I stood up calmly. "I wouldn't, if I were you. I'm 6'2", and I've been boxing at Murphy's gym for 15 years. You're what, 5'8" in those fancy shoes?" Derek backed off. "Now," I continued, "here's what's going to happen. Sophia, you're going to pack a bag and get out of my house. Tonight. Derek, you're going to walk out that door and never contact my wife again. And both of you are going to live with the consequences of your choices." "Eli, please," Sophia begged. "We can work through this. It was a mistake. The only mistake was me trusting you." I looked at Derek. "You should check your car before you leave." Derek frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Just a suggestion." He headed for the door, Sophia trailing behind him in her towel. I watched from the window as Derek reached his BMW and stopped dead. All 4 tires were flat, and Cheater was keyed deep into the driver's side door. Derek spun around and saw me watching. I raised my beer in a mock toast. "Consider that a preview," I called through the glass. The next morning, Sophia was gone. She'd packed 2 suitcases and left a note saying she was staying at her friend Marina's place and that we needed to talk like adults. I threw the note in the trash. Derek filed a police report about his car but couldn't prove I'd done anything. Officer Martinez, who took the report, seemed more amused than concerned. "Domestic dispute?" he asked when he stopped by. "Just a misunderstanding between friends," I said. The real entertainment started when Margaret Pratt saw my photo. By noon, half the advertising agency knew about Derek and Sophia's affair. By evening, Derek's fiancée, some trust fund princess named Ashley, had dumped him via Instagram story, posting screenshots of his texts to Sophia with the caption, "When your man has a work wife and a real wife." My son Ben came home from school to find me reorganizing Sophia's closet. "Where's Mom?" he asked. "She's figuring some things out," I said. "She'll be staying elsewhere for a while." Ben's not stupid. He's 16, and he'd noticed the tension. "Are you guys getting divorced?" "Probably." He nodded slowly. "Is it because of that Derek guy?" "Smart kid." "What do you know about Derek?" "Mom talks about him constantly. Derek this, Derek that. It was pretty obvious." I stopped folding clothes and looked at my son. "You okay with all this?" Ben shrugged. "Mom made her choice. Actions have consequences, right? That's what you always taught me." That weekend, our nosy neighbor Mrs. Grady cornered me at the mailbox. "So," she said with barely concealed glee, "I heard Sophia's been busy at work." "News travels fast," I replied. "My daughter works at Morrison and Associates. She says Derek got fired yesterday. Something about inappropriate conduct with a married colleague." I smiled. "Workplace professionalism is important." "Indeed it is." "Will you be hosting the neighborhood barbecue this year?" "Wouldn't miss it." Mrs. Grady's barbecue was the social event of our street. 30 families, lots of gossip, and plenty of alcohol. Perfect venue for what I had planned. I spent the next week preparing. Using my IT skills, I'd managed to recover some deleted files from Sophia's laptop. Photos, messages, even a video Derek had sent her. Nothing illegal about accessing my own home computer. I also did some digging on Derek. Turns out the Golden Boy had secrets. His trust fund was nearly empty thanks to gambling debts. He'd been skimming from client accounts to cover losses. And he wasn't just cheating with Sophia, there were at least 3 other women, including his boss's daughter. The barbecue was Saturday afternoon. I showed up with potato salad and a smile, knowing Sophia and Derek would probably make an appearance. They'd been seen around town together, flaunting their relationship like some kind of victory lap. Sure enough, they arrived around 4, Derek driving a rental car since his BMW was still in the shop. They walked hand in hand through Mrs. Grady's backyard like they owned the place. "Eli," Derek called out with fake friendliness. "Good to see you, man. No hard feelings, right?" Every conversation in the yard stopped. 30 neighbors turned to watch the show. "Hard feelings?" I repeated. "Why would I have hard feelings? You only destroyed my marriage and traumatized my son." Sophia stepped forward. "Eli, don't make a scene." "A scene?" I'm not making anything. I'm just wondering why you brought your boyfriend to a family event. Derek puffed up his chest. Look, what happened between Sophia and me is real. We're in love. You need to accept that and move on. In love? I laughed. Is that what you call it? Because I have some interesting text messages that suggest otherwise. Derek's confidence wavered. I don't know what you're talking about. I pulled out my phone. Should I read them out loud? The ones where you call her a desperate housewife and brag to your buddies about slumming it with married pussy? Sophia went pale. You're lying. Am I? I scrolled through the screenshots I'd taken. Here's a good one, sent to your friend Marcus. The married chick is getting clingy. Thinks I'm going to leave my fiancé for her. Delusional, but great in bed. The crowd was dead silent. Derek looked like he wanted to disappear. And this one's my favorite, I continued. Sent to your gambling buddy, Tony. Banging this advertising exec. Her husband's some loser IT guy. She actually thinks we have a future. Women are so stupid. Sophia stared at Derek. You said those things? Baby, I was just what? Just lying to me? Just using me? The neighbors were eating this up. Mrs. Grady looked like she'd won the lottery. Derek tried to grab Sophia's arm. We can talk about this privately. Don't touch me, Sophia snapped, jerking away. That's when Derek made his biggest mistake. He turned to me with pure hatred in his eyes. You think you're so smart, don't you? Well, here's something for you to think about. I fucked your wife in your bed, in your house, while you were downstairs working. She loved every minute of it. The crowd gasped. Several people started pulling out their phones to record. I smiled and stepped closer to Derek. Here's something for you to think about. You're about to be very sorry you said that. Before Derek could react, I grabbed him by his expensive shirt and slammed him against Mrs. Grady's fence. The impact knocked the wind out of him. You want to play dirty? I hissed in his ear. And let's play dirty. I released him and stepped back. Derek straightened his shirt, trying to look tough in front of the crowd. You can't intimidate me, he said. Intimidate you? I don't need to intimidate you. I just need to ruin you. I pulled out a small device, a wireless speaker I'd hidden in my jacket. With a tap on my phone, Derek's voice filled the backyard. The married chick is getting clingy. Thinks I'm going to leave my fiancé for her. Delusional, but great in bed. Then another recording. Banging this advertising exec. Her husband's some loser IT guy. She actually thinks we have a future. Women are so stupid. And finally, the coup de grace, a recording I'd made the night I confronted them. I can still taste you. I miss your smile already. Wish you could sneak back. Sophia was crying now. Derek looked around at 30 disgusted neighbors and realized his reputation in this town was finished. You recorded private conversations, he said weakly. I recorded a cheater bragging about destroying my family. There's a difference. Derek tried one last desperate play. He lunged at me, swinging wildly. I sidestepped easily. 15 years of boxing teaches you to read telegraphed punches. His momentum carried him into Mrs. Grady's prize rosebush. He emerged covered in thorns, his shirt torn, bleeding from a dozen small cuts. This isn't over, he snarled. Yes, I said calmly. It is. Derek's humiliation at the barbecue was just the beginning. By Monday morning, video of his rosebush encounter had gone viral on neighborhood social media. Someone had dubbed it Cheater versus Nature and added cartoon sound effects. But I was just getting started. Using my IT skills, I'd managed to trace Derek's digital footprint. The gambling debts were worse than I'd thought. He owed serious money to some very serious people. More importantly, I'd found evidence of his embezzlement from Morrison and Associates. Client funds diverted to offshore accounts, fake invoices, altered contracts. Derek had been stealing for months. I compiled everything into a neat little package and sent it anonymously to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division, the State Attorney General's office, and Morrison and Associates' legal department. Derek's world collapsed in 72 hours. Wednesday morning, FBI agents raided his apartment. Wednesday afternoon, Morrison and Associates fired him and froze his accounts. Wednesday evening, his gambling creditors came looking for their money. Derek called me Thursday night, desperate and panicked. You did this, he accused. You destroyed my life. I didn't make you steal money, Derek. I didn't make you cheat on your fiancé. I didn't make you humiliate my wife in public. I just made sure people knew who you really are. You don't understand. These people I owe money to. They're not patient. I need help. Should have thought of that before you fucked my wife. I hung up. Friday morning brought an interesting development. Sophia showed up at my door, looking haggard and desperate. We need to talk, she said. I'm listening. Derek's gone. He left town yesterday, didn't even say goodbye, just disappeared. I shrugged. Probably for the best. Heard he had some financial difficulties. Sophia studied my face. You did this. Somehow you destroyed him. I didn't have to destroy him, Sophia. He destroyed himself. I just helped people see it. What about us? What about our marriage? What about it? You threw it away for 3 weeks with a loser who called you delusional behind your back. It was a mistake. It was a choice. You chose him over me, over Ben, over our family. Now you get to live with that choice. Sophia started crying. Please, Eli. I know I screwed up, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. The only thing I want to fix is my life without you in it. That weekend, I filed for divorce. By Monday, the papers were served. By Wednesday, Sophia had lost her job. Morrison and Associates decided they couldn't keep someone so closely associated with Derek's crimes. But I wasn't done yet. See, during my investigation of Derek, I discovered something interesting about Sophia's best friend Marina. Marina Rodriguez, the one who'd been so supportive of Sophia's new friendship with Derek. The one who'd encouraged Sophia to explore her options and follow her heart. Marina had her own history with me. 3 years ago, when we lived in Boston, I'd caught her plagiarizing content for her marketing blog. She'd been stealing articles from smaller writers and passing them off as her own work. When I exposed her, she lost her job and her reputation in the Boston marketing scene. Apparently, she'd been planning her revenge ever since. I found emails between Marina and Derek, dating back 6 months. She'd introduced them, she'd encouraged the affair, she'd even provided alibis when they said they needed to meet secretly. Push her harder, Marina had written to Derek. Make her feel special. Her husband's a boring tech nerd. Shouldn't be hard to convince her she deserves better. And Derek's response, she's eating it up, thinks I'm her soulmate. This is almost too easy. Marina had orchestrated the entire affair as revenge against me. Sophia wasn't just a cheating wife. She was a pawn in someone else's game. I sat in my home office staring at those emails, feeling something cold and calculating settle in my chest. Marina wanted to play games? Fine, let's play. I started with Marina's husband, David. Nice guy, worked in finance, completely unaware his wife was a manipulative sociopath. I sent him the emails anonymously, along with evidence of Marina's other schemes. Fake reviews she'd written for competitors, clients she'd stolen through deception, the plagiarism that had gotten her fired in Boston. David confronted Marina that night. Their screaming match was loud enough that neighbors called the police. Next, I targeted Marina's new job at a boutique PR firm. I sent her boss the plagiarism evidence, along with proof that Marina had been bad-mouthing clients on social media using fake accounts. Marina was fired by Friday, but I saved the best for last. Marina had been having her own affair with her yoga instructor, a 25-year-old named Jake who thought Marina was single. I sent Jake screenshots of Marina's wedding photos, along with evidence that she'd been using her husband's credit cards to pay for their dates. Jake posted everything on Instagram with the caption, "When your sugar mama turns out to be a married sociopath." Marina's life imploded in spectacular fashion. Husband filed for divorce, job gone, reputation destroyed. Social media accounts flooded with angry comments from people she'd wronged over the years. Sunday evening, Marina called me, hysterical. "You bastard, you ruined everything." "I didn't ruin anything, Marina. I just made sure people knew the truth about you." "This is about Boston, isn't it? You never could let that go." "This is about you destroying my marriage for revenge. Sophia may have made the choice to cheat, but you orchestrated the whole thing." "She's weak. She was always going to cheat. I just pointed her in the right direction. And now you get to live with the consequences." "This isn't over, Eli. I'll find a way to—" I hung up and blocked her number. Monday morning brought news that Marina and David were separating. She'd moved in with her sister in California, tail between her legs, leaving behind the wreckage of everything she'd built. Sophia called that afternoon. "Marina's gone," she said quietly. I heard. "She told me what you did, how you destroyed her life." "She destroyed her own life. I just helped people see who she really was. Like you did with Derek." "Exactly like I did with Derek." There was a long pause. "Are you going to destroy me too?" I considered the question. Sophia had been manipulated, but she'd still made the choice to cheat. She'd still lied to me for weeks. She'd still brought another man into our bed. "You're destroying yourself just fine without my help," I said. "Unemployed, divorced, publicly humiliated. I'd say you're doing great." "I have nowhere to go, Eli. No job, no money, no friends. Marina was my only support system here." "Should have thought of that before you decided to blow up our marriage." What about Ben? He needs his mother. Ben's 16, not 6. He's old enough to understand that actions have consequences. You want a relationship with him? Earn it back. Another long pause. I never meant for any of this to happen. But it did happen, and now we all get to live with it. I hung up and went back to work. I had a security breach to investigate for a client in Seattle, and unlike my personal life, that was a problem I could actually solve. 3 months later, I thought the drama was over. Derek had fled to California to hide from his creditors. Marina was working at a coffee shop in Sacramento, her career in ruins. Sophia had moved back to Boston to live with her parents while she figured out her next move. I was finally finding some peace. Ben and I had developed a good routine. He'd come over after school, we'd have dinner, he'd do homework while I worked. Weekends, we'd go to Red Sox games or work on restoring that old Mustang in the garage. Then Marina made one last desperate play. She'd been plotting her comeback, apparently, gathering ammunition, and she thought she'd found the perfect weapon, my son. Ben came home from school on a Tuesday looking upset. "Dad, we need to talk," he said. We sat at the kitchen table, and Ben pulled out his phone. "I got some weird messages today, from someone claiming to know secrets about you." My blood ran cold. "What kind of secrets?" "The person said you're not just an IT security consultant. They said you're a hacker who breaks into people's private accounts and steals information. They said you've been doing it for years, and they have proof." I looked at the messages. They came from an anonymous account, but the writing style was pure Marina. Dramatic, manipulative, designed to cause maximum damage. "They want to meet," Ben continued. "They say they'll expose you publicly unless you pay them $50,000. Blackmail. Marina was trying to blackmail me using my own son as the messenger. "Dad, is any of this true?" I looked at Ben, 16 years old, trying to process whether his father was a criminal. I owed him honesty. "Some of it," I admitted. "I did access Derek's and Marina's accounts without permission. I used information I shouldn't have had. Technically, that's illegal." Ben nodded slowly. "But they were hurting our family." "Yes, but that doesn't make what I did right." "Are you going to pay them?" I smiled grimly. "No, son. I'm going to end this once and for all." I spent the next 2 days preparing. If Marina wanted to play the exposure game, I'd give her more exposure than she could handle. The anonymous messenger had suggested meeting at Pioneer Courthouse Square downtown, public place, lots of witnesses. Perfect for what I had planned. I arrived early and set up my equipment. Wireless speakers hidden around the square, cameras positioned to capture everything, and a special surprise I'd been saving for the right moment. Marina showed up right on time, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap like she was some kind of spy. She'd flown back from California just for this confrontation. "Eli," she said, sitting across from me at a cafe table. "Thanks for coming. Wouldn't miss it. Though I have to say, using my son to deliver blackmail threats is a new low, even for you. I needed to get your attention. You have it. What do you want?" $50,000. Cash. In exchange, I keep quiet about your little hacking hobby." I laughed. "You think I'm going to pay you for the privilege of destroying Derek and you? Those were public services." "The FBI might disagree. Computer fraud is a federal crime." "True, but blackmail is also a federal crime. And unlike my alleged hacking, I have your blackmail attempt recorded." I held up my phone, showing the recording app that had been running since she sat down. Marina's confidence wavered. "You can't record me without consent." "Actually, Oregon is a one-party consent state. I can record any conversation I'm part of. But thanks for confessing to blackmail on tape." "Delete that recording." "No, I don't think I will. In fact, I think it's time everyone knew exactly who Marina Rodriguez really is." I activated the wireless speakers I'd hidden around the square. Marina's voice boomed across Pioneer Courthouse Square. $50,000, cash. In exchange, I keep quiet about your little hacking hobby. Dozens of people turned to stare. Marina looked around frantically, but I wasn't done. The speakers continued with a greatest hits collection of Marina's worst moments. Her confession about orchestrating Sophia's affair, her racist comments about coworkers, her plans to destroy other people's marriages for fun. "Turn it off," Marina hissed. "I'm just getting started." My phone buzzed with notifications. The recordings were automatically uploading to YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Marina's face and voice were going viral in real time. "You see," I said conversationally, "the thing about being an IT security consultant is that you learn a lot about digital distribution, how to make sure information spreads quickly and permanently. How to make sure it can never be completely deleted. Marina tried to run, but the crowd had recognized her voice from the speakers. People were pointing, laughing, recording her with their phones. "Marina Rodriguez," someone shouted. "The marriage wrecker. Isn't that the lady who got fired for plagiarism? She tried to blackmail that guy." Marina pushed through the crowd, but there was nowhere to hide. Her face was already appearing on social media feeds across the city. I followed her at a leisurely pace, still recording. "The beautiful thing about the internet," I called after her, "is that it never forgets. Every time someone Googles your name, they'll find these recordings. Every job interview, every date, every new city you move to. This follows you forever." Marina reached her rental car and fumbled with the keys. Before she could drive away, I tapped my phone one more time. Every electronic billboard in downtown Portland, and I'd hacked quite a few, displayed the same message. "Marina Rodriguez? Blackmailer. Marriage wrecker. Plagiarist. The recordings are online. Marina's revenge, backfire plan." Marina stared up at the billboards in horror. Her face was 30 feet tall, surrounded by her own words condemning her. "How?" she whispered. "You wanted to expose me as a hacker," I said. "Congratulations, you succeeded. I am absolutely a hacker. I'm just better at it than you thought." Marina finally managed to start her car and speed away, but the damage was done. Within an hour, Diarga Marina's revenge was trending on Twitter. By evening, her story had been picked up by local news stations. By morning, it had gone national. Marina Rodriguez became the internet's main character for all the wrong reasons, a cautionary tale about revenge plots that backfire spectacularly. I walked home through downtown Portland, past billboards still displaying Marina's shame, feeling something I hadn't felt in months, complete satisfaction. Ben was waiting for me at home. "Dad, are we going to be okay?" "We're going to be fine, son. Marina won't be bothering us anymore." "What about the hacking stuff? Are you in trouble?" "Maybe. But sometimes doing the right thing means accepting the consequences, and I'd rather be an honest criminal than a dishonest victim." Ben grinned. "That's the most dad thing you've ever said." We ordered pizza and watched the news coverage of Marina's spectacular downfall. The reporters were calling it the most comprehensive public humiliation in social media history. Sophia called that night. "I saw the news," she said. "Marina's finished. Completely." "Did you really hack all those billboards?" "Among other things." "The FBI will probably investigate you now." Probably." "Was it worth it?" I looked around my house, my son doing homework at the kitchen table, my life finally peaceful again, my enemies scattered to the winds. "Absolutely." "Eli, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. About everything." "I know you are, Sophia. But sorry doesn't fix broken trust." "I know. I wanted you to know." After I hung up, Ben looked up from his homework. "Do you think Mom will ever come back?" "I don't know, son. Would you want her to?" Ben considered the question seriously. "Maybe someday, but not now. We're doing okay without her." "Yeah," I said. "We really are." 3 weeks later, the FBI did come knocking. Agent Sarah Mitchell, Cybercrime Division, very professional, very thorough. "Mr. Carson, we need to discuss your recent digital activities." "I figured you would." We sat in my living room while Agent Mitchell laid out the evidence. The hacking charges were serious: unauthorized access, data theft, cyber terrorism for the billboard stunt. "You could face significant prison time," she said. "I understand. However, there are some mitigating factors. The individuals you targeted were engaged in criminal activities themselves. Derek Chen's embezzlement, Marina Rodriguez's blackmail attempt, and your methods, while illegal, helped expose serious crimes." "So what happens now?" Agent Mitchell smiled slightly. "The Bureau is prepared to offer you a deal: community service, restitution for the billboard hack, and a consulting contract." "Consulting contract?" "We could use someone with your skills on the right side of the law, catching actual criminals instead of cheating spouses." I looked around my house one more time. Ben was at school, but his presence was everywhere. Homework on the table, basketball shoes by the door, photos of us at Red Sox games on the mantel. "I accept," I said. 6 months later, I was working for the FBI's Cybercrime Division, hunting down real criminals instead of unfaithful wives. Ben was thriving in school and had started dating a nice girl named Emma. We'd finished restoring the Mustang and took it to car shows on weekends. Derek never came back to Portland. Last I heard, he was working at a used car lot in Fresno, still dodging his gambling debts. Marina disappeared from social media entirely. The coffee shop in Sacramento fired her after customers recognized her from the viral videos. She'd become unemployable, a cautionary tale that followed her everywhere. Sophia eventually found work at a small marketing firm in Boston. She called Ben every week and visited twice a year. They were slowly rebuilding their relationship, but she understood that some bridges, once burned, can never be fully repaired. As for me, I learned something important during those months of revenge. The best way to defeat your enemies isn't to destroy them. It's to become someone they could never hurt in the first place. I'm stronger now, smarter, more careful about who I trust, and absolutely ruthless when someone threatens my family. They wanted a villain? They got one. But I turned out to be the kind of villain who works for the good guys, and that makes all the difference.